All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's on the Power. So there's a common stereotype about powerlifters that all powerlifters are fat, and there's these big burly guys that lift heavy weight. So I wanted to make a video regarding this particular powerlifter from the early days of powerlifting named Roger Estep. So Roger Estep was a pretty fascinating powerlifter because he was different and he didn't really fit the mold of what powerlifters were considered to be in general. Not only was he crazy strong and a crazy proficient powerlifter, but he had the physique of, damn near a pro bodybuilder physique for that time period of the 70s and 80s. In my opinion, he actually looked a little bit like Mike Mentzer. I was actually going through some photos of how impressive his physique actually was, and I realized he was definitely worthy of making a video about, and he's definitely a subject that I think a lot of people should know about and probably talk about, because really, I don't really see too many people talk about this guy or really refer to him as one of the powerlifting greats, and he really was, because he's a pioneer in the sense that he really focused on power building and power bodybuilding and focused on his physique as well as his overall strength. Now, in terms of actual powerlifting, he was actually one of the very first guys to ever start box squatting. So for those of you guys who know powerlifting, box squatting is essentially where you squat down onto a box that's typically at parallel, maybe a little above, maybe a little bit below. And that's really to help you train the lockout portion of your squat. He was also the training partner of the founder of Westside Barbell. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with Westside Barbell. So Louis Simmons was actually Roger Estep's training partner back in the 80s and 70s. So Roger Estep actually trained out in the original Westside Barbell out in Culver City. And at that Westside Barbell, he was well known for making a crazy jump in his powerlifting total. So before he started training there, he had a 1,600-pound total. And during his time training there over the course of a couple years, he increased his total by 200 pounds. So that famous leap was one of the things he was well known for, was making these crazy improvements on his total in a very short amount of time. So Roger Estep was a competitive bodybuilder, and he was actually on the cover of some bodybuilding magazines as well as Powerlifting USA. And his physique was really, quite impressive for any powerlifter or bodybuilder. But to my knowledge, he was not actually an IFBB pro bodybuilder. I believe he competed either in the AAU or the NPC at the time. But for that time, like I said, in the 70s and 80s, the physique that he actually had was a very impressive physique for that time period. And certainly for a powerlifter, his physique was above and beyond what you would expect to see. So unfortunately, Roger Estep passed away back in June of 2005. The cause of death was unfortunately brain cancer, and his profession at the time, he was a radiologist. So that was his profession after powerlifting and bodybuilding. That's what he would go on to do. In terms of his actual bodybuilding competitive history, I cannot find any competitions or any competition history of Roger Estep. So if any of you guys know anything about where he competed, if he had any good placings, if he had any major titles, I really can't find any of that online. But I do remember this guy's physique. I do remember seeing him on the cover of these magazines. He definitely was a staple name in the powerlifting community. So I thought he was definitely worthy of a video, just showing you guys the physique that even an early era powerlifter was able to bring. Obviously today we see a lot more powerlifters like Dan Green and guys that are just jacked out of their minds and not the typical fat bloated powerlifters that you're used to seeing or used to associating with powerlifting. So obviously powerlifting is definitely taking a turn for the better as there's now broader interest in powerlifting. We're starting to see more and more just crazy ripped powerlifters come into the scene. But back in the day, there were a lot more bigger, thicker, heavier guys. And Roger Estep was definitely a standout physique amongst those guys. So I wanted to make a video about him, show you guys some photos of the crazy physique that he had. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any additional information about Roger, please share it in the comment section below. I would be happy to learn, and I would be happy to share that with my subscribers as well. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.